Hello, and welcome back to Beyond Default. I'm Teresa. In our last few conversations, we've explored the idea that we are always creating our lives, sometimes consciously and sometimes unconsciously. We've talked about the two conditions of living by default and living by intentional design. But that naturally raises another question. If much of our lives have been shaped by unconscious habits, our beliefs, and our patterns, how do we begin to change? I believe the answer begins with one simple word: awareness. Awareness is where every meaningful change begins. Viktor E. Frankl, the neurologist and psychiatrist, wrote, "When we are no longer able to change a situation, we are challenged to change ourselves." I believe that's where awareness quietly enters our lives. Before we can change our thoughts, before we can change our habits, before we can change our circumstances, we must first become aware of them. Many of us move through life almost automatically. We wake up, we follow routines, we react to situations, and without realizing it, we repeat it day after day after day. Not because we're lazy, not because we're incapable, but because the mind loves familiarity. Our habits become comfortable. Our beliefs become invisible. And before long, those unconscious patterns begin making decisions for us. Awareness gently interrupts that cycle. It creates a small but powerful space between what happens and how we choose to respond. That space is where freedom begins. Frankl also described it beautifully. Between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom. To me, that's one of the most hopeful ideas ever expressed. We may not control everything that happens in our lives, but we can become aware of how we respond and not react. And that awareness changes everything. The Buddha taught something very similar more than 2,000 years ago. He encouraged us not to blindly believe every thought that enters our mind, but to observe it. To notice anger without becoming anger. To notice fear without becoming fear. To notice desire without becoming desire. Ultimately, the goal is not to suppress your desires or emotions, but to stop unconsciously obeying them. Awareness allows us to observe the mind instead of being controlled by it. For me, awareness did not arrive in one dramatic moment. It arrived quietly, one honest question at a time. Why do I react this way? Why do I keep repeating these same patterns? Why does this situation continue showing up in my life? What stories have I been telling myself? Am I being honest with myself? How do I truly love myself? Or how much do I truly love myself? Those questions didn't immediately change my life, no, not at all. But they changed my attention. And when my attention changed, my choices slowly began to change as well. Wayne Dyer expressed it beautifully. If you change the way you look at things, the things that you look at change. For me, that wasn't just an inspiring quote. It became an experience. Here's something I've learned along the way. Awareness doesn't judge. It simply notices. Instead of saying, I failed again, awareness quietly asks, what happened? What belief was I operating from? What story was I believing? And perhaps the most important question of all, what can I learn from this situation? That simple shift replaces self-criticism with curiosity, and curiosity opens the door to growth. You don't have to transform your entire life in one day. You only have to notice one thought, one habit, one reaction, one belief that may no longer serve you. Because every intentional life begins with one conscious moment, awareness. And awareness is the gateway. Everything else follows. Thank you for spending time with me this week. Before our next conversation, I'd like to leave with you one question. What is the one habit, the one belief, or the one pattern you've recently become aware of? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. And remember, awareness is where change begins. Live with purpose, live with meaning, live with intention. And together, let's move beyond default. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.